Well. Um, my debut as a MMA analyst, call it whatever you want, didn't go too well. I guess I I went 2-3 on the main card. This was super hard to predict. I mean, there was just a lot of very close fights. Um, they were good though. The fights that we had on the main card were pretty good. A lot of we had a good few finishes. What, 3 finishes out of 5 fights, and even the decisions were pretty exciting as well. So as a fan, we couldn't really complain. It was a great night of fights, especially after this just the abysmal events we've been having to suffer through in recent weeks. I mean, even the next couple of events after this is absolutely terrible. I mean, we've got Macy Barber versus Erin Blanchfield, headlining a fight night. I mean, that's just yeah, I mean, there's not enough words in the English dictionary to just talk about how garbage of a fight card that's going to be. But let's talk about last night anyway. So first off, I started off 0-2 with Krylov, Dominic Reyes, and Mitchell Silva, and that got me worried. I was on shaky legs. I was on shaky legs. Um, Dominic Reyes, man, he knocked out Nikita Krylov has only been knocked out, I think, twice in his career. And that was against Yuri, I believe, and Daniel Cormier, I think. No, sorry, I'm bugging. Who did Nikita Krylov get knocked out? I can't remember who it was. There was 2 people though that he got knocked out against. And so I didn't think Dominic Reyes would be able to. I mean, even if it was to beat him, I wouldn't think it'd be a knockout. I mean, that's a tall order. I mean, Nikita Krylov's a big guy. I always thought he was kind of durable. Against Ankalaev, he had a very relatively competitive fight with Ankalaev, but like I said in my breakdown, that's just Ankalaev's fights through and through. It don't really mean anything, right? MMA maths doesn't really work like that, especially when Ankalaev's style is just to make it kind of like competitive and um, close. That's just his style. He's like a point fighter. He's a counter striker. That's just how he is. And so maybe in hindsight, I should have recognized that. But I just okay, Dominic Reyes. I mean, don't get me wrong. Krylov has been off for 2 years, but even I'm not going to take this one away from Dominic Reyes because even though he's been off for 2 years, Krylov has. That doesn't mean you're susceptible to a God. I can't speak. That doesn't mean you're susceptible. I can't restart this. I'm already a few minutes in, but that doesn't mean you'd be susceptible to a KO. I think if you're off for 2 years, you could say something like, "Oh, my cardio isn't there because I've not been training as much." But how if anything, you'd be less susceptible to a KO, right? In some ways, because you've allowed your kind of brain to heal from all of the brain trauma that you've been suffering from, when you get hit with a load of strikes and that sort of thing. So maybe not so much a KO is something you'd be, susceptible to, but maybe gassing out. I could see that. But yeah, I mean, KO in the first round. I mean, Dominic Reyes tagged him hard in the first round. Yeah, he tagged him hard. I was like, oh my god, he's probably gonna do it. And then just a couple of minutes later, Nikita Krylov was just coming in, and then Dominic Reyes does the McGregor left hand. Just it didn't, yeah, it's just like it's a beautiful shot on the way in, and just took him out. He was out cold. So well done to Dominic Reyes. I think now I think he's there, man. I think he's right there. I think you can give him another fight. I don't know who he could fight now. I think I might do a separate video just talking about, matchmaking these guys and who they can fight next. Um, and there are a few names I think, so we'll see. But I'll do a separate video for that. Moving on up, Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva. Bryce Mitchell, Bright. I can't even say this guy's name, man. Freaking hell, he's just a fraud. This Bryce Mitchell guy, man, he just looked so soy out there. He had no I don't know. I mean, when you looked at the two of them together, I mean, Gene Silver just looked like a fighter in there, and Bryce Mitchell just looked like he was a farmer who just, fights part time. And that's pretty much what he is. I mean, the guy's like, he's on that freaking tinfoil hat stuff, and I think that's just, I mean, all the stuff that he's been saying, and in his podcast and in some of the interviews that he's done, you'd think he'd be dialed in and like show up, as like a next level fighter. Like, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do if you're gonna be like that. But then he not only does he not show up like that, but he also taps to a submission. Like, that's just embarrassing. Like, go out on your shield. Why you tap into that? Like, what is that about? Like, what a baby. You look like a baby. He's got that baby face as well. I mean, Bryce Mitchell just looked a bit soy. Didn't really have much muscle to him. I mean, he was landing some strikes on the feet, body kicks and calf kicks, but even they looked so labored. It didn't look like they had any pop at all. I mean, Gene Silver was just eating them and just coming forward and just tagging Bryce. And then eventually Gene Silver just locked up he tried to go for a submission in the second, sorry, no, it was the first round, I think. I can't remember. It was earlier in the second round or the end of the first round. Gene Silver was trying to go for a submission or two. He didn't get it, and then I thought, okay, fine, maybe Gene Silver probably won't go back to it, but he did. He went back to it. I guess he was just playing with his food, I guess, until he thought, I'm going to finish the fight now. Then he started barking at him. So he dog walked Bryce Mitchell, started barking at him. Yeah, that's embarrassing if you're Bryce, especially with all the stuff that you talk, on your podcast and whatever else. Moving on up, this is the first fight that I got right. It was Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. I didn't say it in the breakdown, but I did imagine it would be a decision. It's just a case of I don't know why the UFC has this habit of just bringing in these old guys from Bellator. I mean, we had Michael Chandler, and then Michael Chandler like knocked out Dan Hooker. I'll be honest with you, I think in a rematch, I think Dan Hooker might do quite well. Actually, probably did really well against Michael Chandler. If I'm being honest with you, but now Patricio, like, why are we bringing in old guys from the from Bellator? Like Bellator, like, washouts. Like, they're not even in their prime anymore. Like, why are we paying these guys hundreds and thousands of dollars to fight in the UFC when we should be using that money to pay for actual up and coming talent and prospects? I mean, the UFC, there was one, I can't remember who, but there was one, I think, kickboxer who they just basically didn't want to price match, I guess. They don't wanna pay him more than what he was asked. I mean, it's ridiculous, like, we need prospects in the UFC, not freaking old heads in Bellator. Like, who cares about Patricio Pitbull? Like, he's lost now, so you're just still gonna you're still gonna be paying him a few $100,000 to fight. He's not bringing you any value. I mean, just, people, they say this thing with, a lot of the times the UFC makes decisions that are you know, just are ridiculous and shows favoritism or whatever. And people say, you know what, it's about business, about making money for the UFC because it's a business. And I understand that, but then here I don't understand that decision making. Why do you have Patricio Pitbull in the UFC for? Like, what? Why are you risking making the UFC fighters look like clowns and worse than the Bellator fighters? Like, are you stupid? I don't think it's Dana White. I mean, to be fair, Dana White probably wouldn't do much. Would probably just do worse if anything. But obviously, there's people under him that are making these decisions. And they probably don't know anything. They probably don't care because Dana White's distracted, right, with all the boxing stuff that he's going to get into now, whatever. So he can't necessarily, keep these guys in check. Um, as far as the decisions that they're trying to enforce. But yeah, Rodriguez, he outstruck Pitbull. I think he dropped him at one point. Pitbull tried to go for the wrestling, but wasn't very. He didn't have the kind of strength or the grappling skill at this point in his career to kind of hold Yair Rodriguez down for long enough. So, congrats to Rodriguez. They better not give him a title shot. I mean, Mossar's next, man. I mean, I'm gonna get to that in a bit, but they better not give him a title shot for that. Apparently, someone said that I think it was Hunter Campbell or someone at the top promised Rodriguez a title shot. I mean, what's embarrassing, man? It's just getting embarrassing. But moving on up, this fight I got correct as well. Paddy Pimblett versus Michael Chandler. I thought it'd be a submission, to be fair, but KO. I mean, I think it was a TKO to ground and pound. He had him in like full mount, just started like battering him with like shots, a bunch of shots straight to the face of this mug. Look at that mug. I mean, Michael Chandler just he sat out for 2, 3 years waiting for a McGregor, fight. You wasted 2, 3 years where you could have made a bunch of money for you and your family, and now that's it. You lost to a prospect. I mean, Michael Chandler. I know people are hyping up Paddy over this win. I knew Paddy was gonna win going into this, but now because people picked Chandler, because a lot of people picked him, they're now overhyping Pimblet. I think like Chandler's not a good win. Actually, that's my point. That's why I picked Paddy Pimblet. Paddy Pimblet is good. Like people think he's like ass. He's not. He's actually decent. He's a decent fighter with decent skills. He's got great jiu-jitsu. I mean, he clearly showed an ability to get out muscled and out wrestled because Chandler took him down in the first round. So that's obviously a hole. So imagine he fights someone like Arman Sarukian, right? I mean, I think that wouldn't be favorable. That wouldn't be a stylistically favorable matchup for Paddy. But yeah, I mean, I don't think this win is going to necessarily age well. I can see Pimblet like just losing his next fight if he fights like Arman or. I mean, there's some fights that you could probably beat. I mean, you could beat like a Gagey. You could submit like a Gagey. I mean, Chandler just didn't look. I mean, he just looked terrible. I mean, I think his inactivity just showed. I mean, he was losing to Ferguson until he just knocked out Ferguson. I mean, that says a lot, right? Paddy Pimblett went out there, did what he had to do. Outstruck Chandler. He got caught a couple of times in the first round. Again, that's just Pimblett. He's gonna get caught like that. There were decent shots in the first round, but after that, it was second round, third round was just Pimblett all the way. I think some people scored the fight for Chandler, the round for Chandler, sorry, in the first round. Um, I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think he kind of had to go to Paddy because he also hit Michael Chandler with some shots, and then he also had leg kicks, and he mixed it up a bit more. He was on his back for a little bit, I guess, and I guess maybe the judges saw that. But point is, the second 2 rounds were one-way traffic anyway. So it's good to see Paddy at the top. It's good to see him at the top. It's good for UK MMA. It's good for the UK MMA scene. The UK MMA fans need a replacement for Leon Edwards. It's good to get someone like Paddy in there. I mean, not that Leon Edwards was even a star. I mean, he was a star by default because we didn't really have anyone else. I mean, we've got Tom Aspinall now, but Tom Aspinall's a quiet guy, you know. He's not exactly going to be bringing in that kind of energy that someone like Paddy might. And Paddy started beefing with Colby afterwards as well. Colby went over and started talking a bit of smack. Colby, what are you doing, man? I'll go into that in a separate maybe video, but yeah, that was Colby just trying to stay relevant. But moving on up to the headliner, Volkanovski versus Lopez. This was an awesome fight. I can't even speak straight because like these were actually decent fights. They were really exciting. And man, Volkanovski, man, he looked great. Man. I thought he was gonna knock out Lopez, man. Like in those first couple of rounds. Um, yeah, especially before the knockdown when Lopez knocked Volkanovski down. I think it was in the second round. He was looking good, man. This guy was looking good. He was fast. He was kind of out muscling Lopez, tried to wrestle a little bit, but Lopez honestly held his own in the wrestling. I think that's probably Volkanovski's age showing a little bit. I think a prime Volkanovski just TKOs Lopez, if I'm being honest with you. There's no way Lopez goes past like 3, 4 rounds with a prime Volkanovski. But yeah, Volkanovski was just piecing him up on the feet and a little bit on the ground. He took him to the ground a couple of times in the first round. He did take some shots from Lopez. I mean, Lopez hit him hard. He cut him up in a couple of places on the face. He dropped him in the second round. He had some moments in the fourth round. Lopez did. I was a bit biased and I had it 3-2, but that's probably just my bias coming through because I picked Lopez, but the right man won. Um, I think in the fourth round, just aesthetically, it looked like Lopez was kind of pushing Volk backwards, but Volk was landing more shots. You know what I mean? It's the same thing in the fifth round. Like Lopez was pushing forward, but Volk was just the one landing. Like, Lopez wasn't really landing anything. He didn't really land anything at all. I mean, he had a couple of shots that hurt Volk, like the one that dropped him, but other than that, it was just Volkanovski doing his thing. And he wins. And man, Lopez, man, this was your shot. This was your shot to go out there and win. I mean, you got the shot over Evloev. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Volkanovski beats Evloev anyway. But on paper, Evloev should have gotten the shot. So you got the shot over Evloev, the guy who beat you, right? And like, I don't know, man. You kind of got schooled. I'll be honest with you. You just got schooled, and it would have been good for Lopez to win and kind of have a new face in the featherweight, division. It kind of looks a bit. It doesn't look great because Nataporia's shadow is still looming large over the featherweight division because Volkanovski won. In that sense, it's not a good look. It doesn't look good for the division. So yeah, I know a lot of people are happy for Volk. 'Cause I mean, I like Volk as well. A lot of people like Volk, but for the mm, for the sport to be in a good place, we need new faces. We need to market these guys. I mean, the UFC doesn't do that anyway. The UFC just expects people and fighters to just be stars off of their own, you know, promotion. But the UFC is the promotion. Like they're the ones who are supposed to be doing the promoting, but they rarely do that nowadays anyway. So it's probably good that Volkanovski became the champ for the second time because he is obviously a bigger star than Lopez. I think more people know Volkanovski than Lopez. So you know what? Why not? Let's have a bit more Volk in the featherweight division. I mean, who's he going to fight next? Evloev. If you beat Evloev, just retire at that point. I would say and pursue your career as a chef. Why not? That'll be good to see. But yeah, I went 2 and 3. I mean, I got the Paddy fight right, which I was happy with, and the Yair fight right as well. 'Cause they were hard. These are all hard fights to pick. They're all stuck at the odds. They were all super, super close, man. I thought I was clever picking Bryce Mitchell, but my God, I'm never picking Bryce Mitchell to win a fight again. He just looked so bad. But we'll see. Gene Silver, man, good stuff. It's good to see a new. I mean, again, he's one of those fighting nerds guys. It's good to see new faces in the division. That's good. It's good to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else he can do in the featherweight division. But let me know what you guys thought of these fights, and I'll speak to you next time.